If you love talking about cats, but your friends and family are kind of over it, this is the podcast for you. Join your hosts, Danielle Stray Woolley and Elizabeth Calico Gearhart on the Jersey PodCats, where everyday cat lovers share funny stories, challenging situations, and ask their questions about cats. All right, let's get right into this episode.
Hello, everybody. I am Danielle Woolley.
And I'm Elizabeth Gearhart, and we are the Jersey PodCats.
I just said the PodCats. Wow.
Happy Friday start
to
over?
all. Even though we're releasing on a Tuesday. No, let's just keep going. That's fine. Thankfully, Elizabeth is leading this episode.
So, yes, with us today, we have the marvelous Amy Fagan. Is that how you say your last name? Yeah, cool. And she makes jam, which I love jam. There's nothing better than a cup of tea and a nice piece of toast with good jam. Anyway, and she also has her own podcast called Grounded in Maine podcast. And of course, she is a cat lover, but she loves dogs too. So she's crossed the great divide.
We've accepted her into our club.
Bipartisan.
Yes, she's
bipartisan.
So, Amy, what's one of your favorite things about cats and a favorite thing about dogs?
Can I trademark that? Bipartisan?
You might need
I wonder if anyone has used that.
I'm going to the site. I'm going to trademark it while you're talking. I'm going to beat you.
Yes. My husband's a trademark attorney, so we can
I'm just going to call Richard real quick.
Call my lifeline. My favorite thing about cats and my favorite thing about dogs. Oh my gosh. My favorite thing about cats is kind of a toss-up. One is that they're super quirky, and I just think that's the most fun thing. You don't know what you're getting. I mean, they can be one thing when you get them and one when they get home and whatever. But we have super quirky cats. I have always had super quirky cats, and now I have a super quirky dog. So I think maybe I put that onto them.
I was just going to say, I think maybe you created the quirky children.
So maybe you like your cats and dog for the same reason. They're all
maybe
quirky.
I'm just quirky and I'm making everyone quirky. That's also possible. But we have a dude cat. He is very, what everyone always says when they're like, cats, they're so aloof. Like, what? Why would you want a cat? He is that cat, except when you're in the bathroom, brushing your teeth or sitting on the toilet, or with me, if I'm laying in bed, he will lay right on my legs, which I love, but you can't touch him. But when you're brushing your teeth, he wants you to touch him. It's fine. I love it because he's going on 8 years old, and you just know. I mean, we had somebody staying with us, and she called him Sir because he's just he's like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, just put food in my bowl.
And be blessed by my presence.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're welcome.
And he's so handsome. Yeah. And then we have our other cat she's a rescue cat. Her name is Amelia. I named her after me. But she is the cutest thing, and she makes no noise at all. She sneaks through the house all the time. And she just the other day she killed a chipmunk. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Elizabeth was just talking about the chipmunk.
It's a cat thing, right? It's their instinct.
It is.
But I had the window open so that because it was nice out and I could hear crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I ran outside, and she was sitting underneath the window with this little chipmunk, and she was telling me, and so she's so loud when she's proud of herself. Look at what I found. Usually it's at 3 a.m.
Yeah, my Mercutio brought my cats. I have the door open all the time. They go in and out our backyard. We have woods in the back. They bring animals in. All of them do this. They bring them in alive and let them go in the house. And so Kushi brought a chipmunk in the other day. And it liked the sunroom, so I managed to trap it in the sunroom and open the windows to the outside, and I just left it like that for a day or so and went back in, and it was gone. So but it's just, and they make the weirdest noise, don't they? It's like
yes. Clarence, our dude cat, he coos. It's the sweetest thing, and I'm like, how are you you sound so nice. And you pick him up to bring him outside because he has to be out on a leash because he will just jump everything, and I never know if he'll come back. And he acts all tough, but I don't know if he could defend himself.
Can you share with everybody where you're from?
I'm in Maine. I'm in Brunswick, Maine. We're about 40 minutes north of Portland. Usually that's where people know of.
Yeah, I just figured to help paint the picture when you're talking about cats taking off, jumping a fence, opening a window.
Yeah, so I mean, we live on an acre, and there are woods in the back,
Nice.
and we've had foxes and hawks and stuff, and I just don't know. He's a big guy, but he's not like that big, and he thinks he's really big, but he's not that big. But so cats. I mean, I just love that they're quirky, and also that they're soft, like squishy.
That's what Elizabeth loves about cats.
I love that they're soft. That's my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
She thinks it's a trick that they were purposely made soft to make us want to pet them all the time.
And then
for them to get mad when we touch them.
Bones.
Yeah, I mean, and I have a cat, Mercutio, and I think that I know that he does. He changes his fur, the texture of his fur based on the mood he's in. So if he wants to be petted, he makes himself softer. Otherwise, his fur can be really coarse. It's really interesting.
I'm sorry for those watching on YouTube. I keep drooling on myself. My new water cup I just got from vacation is not doing its job. So dribbling over myself over here. Sorry. You may continue. No more water for me.
As you were.
So we love the softness. You love the quirkiness. Yeah, and they give you gifts of affection, right? So you feel like you're getting a gift when they're nice to you.
Right? Yeah. So Amelia's weird thing, like her super quirky thing is that she's loud when she finds something and she's proud of herself. But she also she's so soft, and she's so sweet looking, and you pet her, and if you are on a centimeter off of the right spot, she will claw you, and you're just like, hey, or bite or whatever. I'm just like, dude, I'm loving you. And I've literally laid down on the bed beside her, and I just put my face beside her, just my nose to her nose, and she's reached up and clamped on my nose. I'm like,
with her mouth?
I want you to love me, but not like that.
Yeah, with her mouth. With her mouth. She just bit my nose. I am having a moment with you, and you're biting my nose.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I just love that. I just love it. You're just always on your toes. You never know where you sit.
Yes.
But with dogs, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, dogs make me exercise. Cats don't care if you exercise or not.
Cats actually make you not exercise. We talked about this before, because they want to be cute and cuddly and lay down. And then they say when you hang out, whoever you hang out with is who you become.
Right.
And my cats sleep all day. So I just want to sleep all day.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that whole I had plans, but there's a cat on my lap. I literally can't get up. I totally get that. And I am on that as well. Dogs, I mean, our current dog is a rescue, and like I said, she's very quirky. I discovered she is the dog version of me. So I guess that means that I am quirky. But she's reactive and anxious, and if a stranger comes over, you know how we all grow up thinking, being told, just put your hand out for the dog to sniff you and make sure you're okay. She will bite your hand every time.
Oh, wow. She's
so
no,
not this
get that
dog.
thing out of my face.
All dogs except for Whitney.
My trick is I ignore them. That's how animals love me. I ignore them, and then they let them come to me. The second I'm like, doggy, they're like, nope, and they turn around.
Yeah, and you can't even do that with her. It is very much earned with her. She's not trusting of people.
What kind of dog is she? What does she look like?
She's a cattle dog mix. So she's when we got her, we were told she was 18 pounds, and it's hard to imagine that she was that little, because she's 43 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Decent size.
She's solid. She's a solid girl.
All muscle.
Absolutely. No, she is very strong. She's very heavy. But she's also, with us, she's so snuggly and licky, and oh my gosh. The first night that we had her, she just laid on my shoulder, just her face to my face, and I just But we got her because we lost a dog, and broke me, like completely broke
Mhm.
me. And
Yeah.
a cat was my first pet of my own, and I still, I'm still planning to write a book about her, but getting a dog changed me. Like I was a super neat freak till I got a dog.
Do
That
you
is
have
out the window.
do you have kids, Amy?
No.
Oh, well, I was never a super neat freak, which was really good because kids change that too. Kids and dogs, they
Right?
kind of have that in common, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I got a dog before I got a husband, and so I was already like, this is how it's gonna be. I'm never gonna have a clean house. Um, but I mean, just the fact that having a dog makes you get out and go for a walk and exercise and stuff like that, and I need that because I am not lazy, but I don't make time to exercise.
So
I can
I'm
re-
just,
I can I
yeah,
can relate to that.
I'm kind of curious. What did the cats do when you brought this dog home and it took you over at night and laid on you and they didn't get to be there?
Oh, the cats were not allowed on the bed
Oh,
because that is not my rule.
so the
I
dog's
don't
allowed on the
sleep
bed and the
well.
cats are
Well,
not.
the
I
dog's not
see.
allowed on the bed anymore either because she's too
Oh,
big.
okay.
But the cat, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but our cats anyway, like they're always up and down and up and down and up and down. And I don't care because I don't sleep that well anyway. But my husband is like, if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, I'm going to be a bear for
Well, the
Mm.
cats
everyone.
come in and lay in bed with me, but I have to get up and go to the bathroom a lot during the night. Always
And
have my
that,
whole life.
yeah.
And so I drive the cats crazy. So the cats are the opposite. The cats are like, okay, I tried sleeping with you. You're just getting up too many times. I'm going over here to the chair.
Well, it's funny is Derek will actually tell us when it's time for bed, and he has a spot in the middle that he goes to. And when we were away for a couple of days last week, I actually in the middle of the night, because I couldn't sleep, I was moving the pillows around and one wound up behind my leg. And out of habit, when I was half asleep, went to go pet Derek, but it was
Right?
a pillow.
Well, you know what happened to me the other night with Lily? So Lily sleeps in the pillows, but she sleeps over. I have a huge bed. And she's came over like right by my head. And Kushi does that, but we snuggled together. But Lily was right there and I was afraid of squishing her. So I'm like hanging off the bed with my pillow. And I woke up at one point, I'm like,
And your
wait a minute.
arm's numb and your
Yeah,
neck is broken.
I'm like,
Half on, half
this?
off, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. No,
So-
my dog Whitney she doesn't like surprises, and so if she's on the bed before I am because she gets up on the bed while I'm brushing my teeth, and then I start to get in bed and I can't like pull the blanket up to get in, she will nip me because I'm like messing up her space.
Is that the dog?
Yeah, that's the dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
I
I have
used
to
to-
like I go with my feet. I just shove my feet in, and then she's like, oh.
yeah. I used to have the issue early in the morning. Now he's not doing it so much anymore, thank goodness, where Max wanted me to get up. And so he would go under the covers and inside my nightgown and start biting the back of my legs. Not biting, just barely
Just like,
nipping.
hello, wake up. Oh, you're awake.
Yeah.
Good. Get me breakfast.
Oh, you're awake.
Never broke the skin, but just, yeah. So he's a little devil.
See, I just think that it's so you never know. And there are stories forever because everyone has those stories. I just think I think that's the best thing. It's so much fun. My husband, maybe not.
Well, we say our husbands put up with us. We drive our husbands crazy, but they drive us crazy in other ways, right? Like,
Indeed.
so I want to know about the jam making too. What kind of jam do you make? Do you pick the berries there? Do you buy them?
She's like, enough about cats. Let's talk about jam.
But so how do you keep jam in the house? Do you sell it? Because I mean, I would have a hard time keeping it in the house. So I want to hear a little bit about that business.
Okay. Well, so I'll tell you the story of how it started. So I've been working office jobs. They're not awesome paying jobs. It's just something to keep me busy and, whatever. But so my husband does okay in his job, and I was feeling bad about myself, and we moved into this house. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start a garden, and I will grow food and I will preserve food, and that will be my contribution because money is not it. And so that'll be almost the same as making money. Saving money is like making money.
It is.
And so that was my thing. And I would always make jams. We don't have a lot of fruit on our property, but we do have some farms that do like you pick strawberries and raspberries and blueberries. And they're like half an hour away. And we have a CSA with them. So I can use my CSA money toward that, which is amazing. But
what's a CSA?
Community supported agriculture. So farms will offer, like, you can pay, I mean, the ones that we do, you pay like $250 at the beginning of the season, and you just tally it up, like whatever, you can buy whatever you want. You can use it all at once if you want, or you can space it out.
Yeah, and the one by me is you have a set amount that you pay each week, and you can either get a half order or a full order and share it with your neighbors.
Yep. There are lots of different ways to do it, but it's, it's like guaranteed money for
I used to do it.
The farmers, and that's cool. We're happy to do that because my garden is hit or miss these days. Now that I have more things going on, I am gardening less, which is unfortunate, but.
Well, we want a garden here. My husband loves to garden, but we have deer. So we feel like we have to enclose the backyard with a deer fence because they'll come through and eat everything. I remember we used to have this planter, like kind of attached to our front porch, and Richard was gone on a business trip, and I had planted these petunias and I put Miracle Grow on them, and they were beautiful. They were like at their height the night he got home in the dark. And I went to show him the next day. The deer had eaten all of them.
Oh my gosh.
They were so beautiful. The deer couldn't resist.
Yeah. So we can't really do a lot here unless we put up netting, but we do have the screen porch. So our daughter's coming home for the summer, so she's hoping to grow stuff on the screen porch. So we'll try.
Nice. Yeah, container gardening is great. Yeah, and I was talking to somebody on my podcast not too long ago, and they were saying it's so great because you don't have weeds. Very important part.
I'm in. Sign me up.
You can follow the sun with it, as opposed to moving your entire garden. Like, you literally can't do that. But
that's what I do with some of these plants. I move them around based on the sun, and then some of them, when the sun's really hot, like towards the summer, I pull them away so they're not so close to the windows. So,
Danielle,
I never thought of that.
Yeah, that brings up that other point we wanted to talk about, how some plants are really toxic to cats. Do you want to address that, Danielle?
Yeah, sure. And actually, Jillian pointed it out at the end of our last episode, and she's like, I didn't want to say it until after we were done recording, but is that a poisonous plant behind you? I'm like, it is. Thank you for calling me out on that, because I am crazy about checking the plants that I bring into the house, especially with having so many cats. The story on that one is, it is a peace lily. It is one that we had prior to having any cats that nobody ever bothered, but we had a spin-off of that one. Actually, now that I'm looking, we have two. The little one was on the counter, and out of sheer boredom, one of my cats, Thor, just started chewing on one, but I had no idea because nobody had ever bothered it before, so I didn't even give it a second thought. And he was having issues where his throat was closing, he was drooling, and he was like having trouble breathing. And I kept bringing him to the vet. They kept checking him. They gave him antibiotics, and like nothing was working. And before, I was just like, okay, it's got to be something else. And then I don't know what made me look, but I started looking up on the plant app that I have every single plant, and that came up as being poisonous. So now they're raised up off the floor. We found another plant that we had that was poisonous. I just gave it away. I didn't even want it in my house. So you really want to be careful with that stuff. For this one, it only causes distress if they actually chew it. There are other ones that are so poisonous to the point where even like the wax from the leaf or the pollen from it will just make them very sick or cause like serious issues. So not to scare people, but since that came up, thank you for reminding me, Elizabeth. I just wanted to mention that. Be a smart plant and pet parent. Say that 10 times fast.
I've heard poinsettias.
Poinsettias, I won't bring those in my house at all.
Yeah.
And I've heard that a lot of like essential oils also are hard on their respiratory systems, which is a bummer because they're such a big deal these days with people.
And it shows so much you don't know. Like when I first had cats, people just think I know everything. Most of it, I'm kind of figuring it out as I go still.
Right.
And that brings me back to a point I've made before that I can't quit saying, because I have had cats. I say I was born with a cat in my arms. I've had cats forever. The vet told me that one of the reasons that my cat might be sneezing is because of the cat litter, because they're really sensitive to smells. And so he said, you need to switch to unscented, just plain cat litter. And that cleared it up. And never I never made the connection, which was after years. I never had a cat that had like these sneezing episodes all the time like this, but I think other cats that have had kind of congestion issues, and I wonder if it has been the litter. I don't know.
Why not?
Lots of random things to think about today. You are all welcome. They're going to be writing all these notes down, checking litter, checking plants.
Hindsight, man. It's 2020, right?
How do we keep our cats healthy? Yeah. So, Amy, do your cats get to go outside, or are they inside?
They do go outside. We have a fenced-in yard. Only one of our cats obeys that, so he's on a leash. And he is terrible with it. Unless the weather is very agreeable, he will just sit in the shade and just chill. But then he'll get tied up in something, which is why my window is always a little bit cracked open so I can hear what's going on. And it's only when the weather is good. Like in the winter, he does not go out, as crazy as it makes him. And oh boy, does it make my husband crazy.
Oh, to have
the cat is crying. He just needs to go outside. I'm like, it's 20 degrees. It's like, but he really wants to. Someone has to be the adult. Someone has to be the smart one.
Yeah, but as soon as it starts to get nice out, that's low-key too. And we just don't let him out anymore. I tried putting him on the harness, but then he thinks he could just go out whenever he wants, and it's just not worth it. Yeah. So he howls, we say no, we open a window, and that's about all he gets now.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine go in and out, but it doesn't get as cold here. But if it's really cold like that, I don't let them out, and they want to go out. They do, but I just tell them no, and pretty soon they give up because they know they'll get to go out the next day, I guess.
Well, right, and then they get all caught up in a nap, and they forget all about it. Like, you weren't that concerned after all, were you?
But
that sounds so right.
We were talking about routines on the last episode. It is funny because the cats will sleep with me. I'll get up. And they try to wake me up at certain points, but I get up when I want to now. They're trying to train me for other things, but we'll all go downstairs and I'll open the door and we'll all go outside. Well, they will. And then they'll come in and maybe try to get some more food out of me. So, they have their little morning routine.
Do they ever like tell your husband that they haven't eaten? And like, they ever
totally did
them?
Like a minute ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, they said they were hungry. I'm like, they just finished eating. So they get double meals.
My cats are so spoiled. They always they turn their nose up at the food. Like I give them really good food and they won't even eat it. So they get fed all the time and they just don't eat. And I
used to do that. And I was actually, if for anybody listening who remembers my friend Raymond Osterby that was on, we were just talking about that, me, him, and my friend Jeff, because they were cat sitting for us while we were away. And I gave very specific instructions. They each get a half a can at this time, and they each get a half a can at that time. And that's it. And Jeff was like, see, Raymond, not everybody in the world just puts food out all day long. And I was like, oh, I didn't need to, rile something up here. But otherwise it just goes to waste. And then I'm spending more time cleaning the food out of the bowl than actually feeding them. So no, thank you.
I know. Yeah, I'm trying not to feed him as much as I was. I mean, Max was so starved when we got him that he needed to just constantly eat. But now, he would just eat anything all the time. And now he's just like, nah, I don't think that, expensive food over there is my taste anymore. It's just...
Which is funny because you donated some of the open bags of the really fancy foods to the rescue. So we've been using it for some of the outdoor, the cats that we take care of outside, as well as the foster space. You'd be surprised how many, for cats who don't get a lot of food, are like, I don't want to eat this because it's too fancy
really
for
care
them.
For that.
This is too fancy for me. So I've been mixing it with the Costco brand for them to eat it. How funny is that?
I know. Well, my cats like the Friskies, like they don't want the fancy stuff. I mean, I had to get a whole bunch of fancy food because we thought Max had a food allergy. Right. Turned out that wasn't it. So he's had I don't think I went to the alligator. That was going to be like the next one, but I think we stopped at the venison.
Like she tried everything.
Yeah.
Like everything under the sun for that cat.
So Max, we got him as a kitten and he was scratching so much. He scratched all the fur off his face and his ears and his throat. And
like he looked like a little alien.
Yeah. I kept an Excel spreadsheet of everything I did for him. And he's been on so many medicines. And I took him to the vet or called to change his medicine 26 times in 8 months. Anyway, we finally figured it out. He put his face on my arm and I got a rash. And when I took him to the vet the last time, I said, I would take an antihistamine for this rash. What do you have for the cat? And they said, we don't have one. And I badgered them until they finally said, well, you can give him Zyrtec. So he's still on a little bit of steroid, but the Zyrtec really turned the corner for him.
And his
And
hair
so
all grew back finally after how many months? 8 months?
he was 8 months and he was really bald and it was really sore. I have pictures of him, of course. I have pictures of him all the way through. And he had scratched off all his whiskers. It was just so painful to look at. We didn't know what we were going to do. But the Zyrtec, we just kept looking till we found something. But yeah,
I'm
so
glad he's doing better.
now he's just like a normal cat, and he acts like the big cats. He's just like, yeah, you know what? I don't have time for you right now. I have to go do this.
Well, what more important things?
Yeah.
Now, Amy, do you have any stories like that for any of your cats? Like some kind of mystery you had to solve for them, or like any like reunion or rescue stories before we start wrapping up?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. So, you were asking how it went having Whitney on the bed, and when we first got this
yeah, that was
dog
the
and
original question we started with 20 minutes ago.
I love this. And so Clarence, the dude, can scale anything. Like we have a counter that's like not a counter, cupboard that's like 6 feet high. He can jump in there and see what's in there, which drives me crazy. But so when we got Whitney, we closed her up in the spare bedroom with a baby gate, and we were told, because she's a bit anxious, not to leave her alone with cats, like not unsupervised, and we had to go to work. And so we did the baby gate, and I was nervous, and he 100% within seconds he jumped the fence and the gate, and everything's fine. It's fine.
So what did they do when they got in the same room?
Nothing.
I
mean,
That's
I wasn't there, but nothing. I mean, no
Oh.
one. There was no blood or anything.
Like she didn't tattle on him afterwards. There wasn't any.
No.
He did this.
Well, so my son and his wife have 2 dogs, and they stay in the basement, and we haven't finished basement. And they came one weekend, and we went out to dinner, and my son left the door from the basement to the main room, the main house, open, which he wasn't supposed to do. And when we got home from dinner, every single cat bowl had been licked completely clean. And like all 3 cats were huddled under the middle of the bed.
Yep.
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think the dog was a little much for them. But I used to have a cat that loved dogs, just loved dogs, would go snuggle with them. But that's kind of rare.
I think it's more about the personality of the pets,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
Since they're all different, sometimes you get a really good match. We had a cat who was he was so special. The last 2 cats and our dog, when they were on their last days, he would not leave their side.
Oh.
And one of the cats, they fought so bad,
because animals know. They just
know.
know.
And he just knew, and he was so great. But he would snuggle with our other dog, and he would snuggle with Whitney too. Just like he would sit beside her and he would clean her ears, and oh my gosh, it was the cutest thing.
Yeah, one of the cats that we placed through the rescue was a very old cat. It was gray, white, fluffy, and it looked very streetly because it had been out there for a while. So it looked like a little rough, but she was so sweet. The people who adopted her had a husky. They were like best friends, and they put a picture up with the husky with the cat next, so you couldn't even see the cat because they matched each other. And then they put up another picture later where she was hanging out with a chinchilla. So the dog, the chinchilla, and the cat all became best friends.
I love it. Our Amelia now, so the newer cat that we have, she is like I said, she's super quiet, but she also she pushes boundaries all the time. She's so quiet, and she'll be standing in the hallway or whatever, and someone will walk by, and she will just like boop them lightly, like on their bum as they're walking by, and I'm like, okay,
just Clarence to see what you get rid with.
Clarence is gonna punch you, and Whitney she's very patient with her, but so Amelia got a chunk taken out of her nose because she booped the wrong chicken, and so she's got a little chunk taken out. She's fine, but
I'll tell you.
She's not learning that. It's
I was
just
gonna
the
say, I don't
funniest
think that's
thing.
gonna stop her though.
It's like, does that make you mad? How about that? What if I do that? You're like, you are a child. My goodness.
Oh, well, this was fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, so do you sell your jam? I just
She's
gotta know.
obsessed with the jam. She said
I
it before
gotta
you
know.
started
Back to
that
the
she wants to
jam.
hear about jam.
Back to the jam. Yes, I do. So
Okay.
right. So I was preserving stuff and trying to save money. My sister got married in 2014, and I made little jars of jam as wedding favors for everyone.
Oh, cool.
And they were just like, Amy, you've got to do this. And it was never in my nature to be an entrepreneur, never to be a business person. Like, I just wanted to kind of skate through life. But
so you randomly started a garden, randomly got into jam, and you also have a podcast.
Yes.
So I sense a theme of random, and I love it.
Yes.
Random quirky.
Yes, absolutely. So I am a creature of habit, and I will do the same thing forever and ever, unless something gets in my way and like stops me. Like, I'm just like straight, unless something like cuts me off. And so I was in a car accident a few years ago, and I was out of work for 4 months. And while I was doing that, I was just working. I was not planning on making jam for a business. But while I was there, I was like, listening to podcasts and watching webinars and stuff like that. And so I was like, maybe I could do it. Like, if I don't tell anyone and I just make some jam and someone buys it, like, sure, why don't we try that? And so I waited on hold with the state and, getting all the testing done and stuff like that. And so by the time I was able to walk again, I had a kitchen lined up and I was ready to start.
That's
so
cool.
where do you sell it? Like, if I want to buy some, how would I get it?
I have a website. It is amysgardenjam.com. And I have a bunch of different flavors. They're not all in stock because like grapes are really hard to get. It makes an amazing jam if you've ever had homemade grape jam. But it's really time consuming, and grapes are hard to come by for me. But I have a bunch of strawberries. I pick strawberries during strawberry season. I pick from 7 to 7:45 in the morning, half an hour away, and then I come back and I wash, and I don't wash them. Then I take a shower and I get ready to go to work. And then after work, I'm cleaning and I'm prepping all these strawberries that I've picked. So it's very, very long season. But so I have lots of I have strawberry, I have strawberry rhubarb, I have strawberry lemon marmalade. I have it's Sunday in a jar, which is strawberries, raspberries, and chocolate liqueur. That's what I'm currently eating.
Elizabeth is like, I don't want to wait for delivery. I'm driving to Maine this weekend.
Yeah, I'll see you this weekend.
Ooh, very popular. I made a friend who's in Nevada, and she has a card shop, and she ordered a case of that to sell at the store because that was her favorite. And I have raspberry and blueberry, wild Maine blueberries. The fruit is from Maine, except for citrus because it's Maine. But the strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, rhubarb is from Maine. It's all in my yard. And I have a rhubarb orange marmalade. I have grape. I have blueberry lime. and I have an apple preserves, which is chunky and it's so good. It has nutmeg, so it actually tastes like apple pie. It's really yummy.
Nice.
Well,
we will definitely encourage you guys to go to her website and check that out.
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much, Amy. This has been such a joy talking to you. It was so much fun. And I mean, are we cat people or cat sufferers? Sometimes I don't know.
I don't feel like I ever. No, that's not true. I would say I would never suffer, but the end is always hard. But I would have more cats, but thank goodness my husband is very grounded in that, and he's like, remember the last time we had to do the vet thing, and remember how expensive it was? And
So you know your limits. When the right timing comes, a cat might show up on your front yard, and that's how it happens.
He knows my limits.
That's a good one. That's one we should talk about in another episode, Danielle. Know your limits, because that's hard to do.
So I can speak on that for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Amy, and It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks
thank
everyone
you
for
guys so
listening.
much.
Take care.
Thanks so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. Give this podcast a rating so other cat lovers can find it. Connect with the Jersey PodCats on social media or visit thejerseypodcats.com and leave a message sharing a story or question about cats. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode.